when suddenly my gender decides to change right before bed. I'll just be vibing, and then it'll be like, binder time.
Up next, it's time for Brad vs. TikTok, my daily segment where I take on the craziest ideas from the Clock app.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
Buckle up, because this one's going to be a wild ride. We're checking out a TikToker explaining her experience with gender fluidity, and it's quite the trip.
Here are some examples of my gender fluidity being a little bitch. Number 1, feeling like a guy and visiting my relatives. I don't know if you know this, but I am not out to my family. Therefore, when I'm feeling like a guy but I have to present super feminine in front of my relatives, it makes me feel icky inside. Also, gender dysphoria is a bit. Number 2, when suddenly my gender decides to change right before bed. I'll just be vibing, and then it'll be like, binder time. No, Michael, it's not binder time, it's bedtime. Binder time. Number 3, in the frickin' middle of the day. I'll be walking all happily along, and then suddenly, boom, gender change. No, now is not the time, Michael. I have a day to run. I don't need this dysphoria right now. Most of the time, I won't have the resources or capabilities to reduce the gender dysphoria because I didn't bring along with me a hat or a binder or makeup if it's the other way around. So, it's a bitch. It's a real bitch.
First, I want to be clear about something. Absolutely no bullying or harassment or shade to this person whatsoever. I'm talking about this and covering this video for educational purposes, so you guys can see what's spreading on TikTok and the kind of emotional and psychological duress that many members of Gen Z are experiencing because of gender ideology. I do not want and I don't support anyone being mean or unkind to the people I cover in my videos, so don't do that, okay? This is for educational purposes, none of that. If anything, people like this deserve our profound sympathy. They're clearly going through it, and they've been hopelessly led astray by a generation of adults and a generation of online influencers that have pushed harmful and nonsensical and incoherent ideas that are billed as solutions but actually just end up with young people who are hopelessly distressed and confused, like this poor young woman. I mean, her video really does make clear the true utter incoherence of extreme gender ideology. I mean, what the heck does it mean to feel like a guy at a certain moment? You can't explain that without engaging in extremely crude gender stereotypes. You're not suddenly a biological male. You don't suddenly feel your chromosomes feel different. That's not it. So what does it mean? It means she wants to wear a hat or not have makeup on or other things that she explains in this video. Babe, you might not realize it. In fact, I'm sure you don't realize it, but you're doing sexism. You're assigning things to the sexes and the genders that are just stereotypes. It's fine to be a female who wants short hair and wears a hat and doesn't like makeup, but that doesn't make you a boy. It makes you just a female who's a little different. The idea of gender itself or gender identity in this extreme worldview is just incoherent. It's just becoming meaningless. It essentially means personality at this point, I think. But babe, your personality shouldn't be shifting like this. It shouldn't be randomly shifting before bed or doing a 180 in the middle of the day while you're out and about. Like, that's not normal. And I'm not saying this to be mean, again, but you should speak to somebody about that. You should work on that. That's probably some sort of condition you need to resolve and address. It's not a identity or a demographic trait in the way of just like being gay is. And that's part of what bothers me about videos like this. No matter how much sympathy I have for the individuals involved, you are conflating incoherent nonsense with our identities and our legitimacy as gay people, because it's all unfortunately been lumped under this LGBTQIA plus alphabet umbrella. Well, now people will see this kind of thing and they'll associate it with me when it has nothing to do with me. It literally has nothing in common with being gay and being same-sex attracted and just wanting to live your life and have your family and be. It has nothing to do with this, but it's all being conflated and people feel like they have to accept it all or accept none of it. And so the world's turning against, at least parts of it, are turning against the LGBT community because they haven't gatekept. And gatekeeping is actually good. It's ironically used as like a dirty word in woke circles, but it's actually good. It is moral and just and right to gatekeep incoherence and insanity out of your movement if your goal is to achieve acceptance and tolerance for that movement. Of course it is. But hey, when you don't gatekeep, you end up with this kind of nonsensical stuff lumped into your activist movement, and people dismiss your entire cause and your entire community as a result. That's really harmful for the people involved who are being confused hopelessly by incoherent ideological nonsense, and for the people who are being caught up in it, the everyday normal LGBTs who just want to fit in and live their lives, who are being ridiculed by association with this kind of stuff. And again, just a little bit of parenting advice. Do not let your kids on TikTok. Don't let them be exposed to this kind of thing. And if you do, make sure that you're having conversations with them about it. You're highlighting legitimate resources. You're explaining this stuff to them so they don't just, as impressionable young minds, fall victim to this predatory ideology that tells people there's a hope for them and that if they just adopt this identity, then they'll feel better about everything. And then when they don't, they just go deeper into it. It's really, really sad stuff. My heart goes out to this individual, and my heart goes out to everybody who's been led astray by extreme gender activism. It really is toxic stuff, and we've got to return, not to trad ultra conservatism, gender roles. No. We've got to return to saying that there's two biological sexes, but people, can live however they want, right? If you're a male, you don't need to be masculine. It's okay to be effeminate. If you're a female, you don't need to wear makeup. You don't have to have ponytails. You don't need to like pink. None of that. Get rid of all the gender stereotypes nonsense and just let people be. But you guys, you let me know what you think in the comments below of this interesting video.